Now look at that jewel, 1980. That's a patch given out at the EAA convention in 1980. You know, that's one of the coolest things about this airplane. It just harkens back to this, I don't know, that time when things were just kind of simple, you know. I mean, we had to grab prints and figure things out. And I don't know about you, but this process has been so absolutely enjoyable. The figuring things out, that's the best part. And so that's what we're going to do. This is part 2, the second part. All we're going to talk about is really rivets, you know. Now, back to that blueprint, right? We have to go back. We have to go back to this, no matter what. This is the standard that Mr. Milholland gave us. We need to learn. It's a privilege, right? And, you know, obviously this video is not for people that have built airplanes. This is for someone who's on the fence, really concerned, a little nervous, you know. We have to go back and always remind ourselves that this is going to be fun and it's a learning experience. So in order to be successful at building this tail, we really have to go. And I know this seems a little childish, but this is important. If you want to build this airplane, okay, there's 3 things that need to come together. The first thing is we need to educate, okay? We have to learn. I mean, that's the whole idea. Yes, the blueprints don't call out everything. I get it. But the education part is what Leonard Milholland has stressed very heavily in that manual that we need to do. We force ourselves to learn. When you're done building this airplane, you're going to be very, very intelligent when it comes to aircraft construction. You're going to be able to build anything. Anything. You want to build the pits. I got a set of plans for a Waco, okay? From the 1928, 29. I got the original set of plans. Okay, they're massive. It's no different. The same standards, okay? But we need to educate ourselves, okay? The next thing is personal standards. You need to develop within yourself a personal set of standards, okay? And what I mean by that is you can't be one of those people that just sort of shoot from the hip and say, good enough. Sometimes when you get a set of plans like the Legal Eagle, it's real easy to fall into that trap and say, you know, Leonard, he just basically threw it together, and that's not true. That's not true. And he clearly identified that in the manual, okay? He takes this very serious. So you got to tell yourself, I want to be able to produce the best I possibly can. The best parts, I want to be the most knowledgeable. I need to learn everything. I want to take my time and make it right. And that comes down to how we're brought up as children, right? It is a fact that this airplane, if you're at 3,000 feet and you're going 50 miles an hour, your personal standards do matter, okay? The last step is to develop skills. And there's a learning curve, you know. Gosh, it doesn't matter if you're welding, riveting, painting. The whole idea behind the EAA is have fun. It's a privilege, and with that, we're going to work on those skills and practice, and this gives us a chance to do that. And that equals success, okay? So, in the tail, again, we're going to go back to that formula, right? Educate. Okay, so we know that we have a tube with a gusset. Tube is 35 thousandths thick. Gussets are 20 thousandths. We also have a channel that we need to bend. That'll be fun. That'll be fun just bending the channel. Okay, that's 20 thousandths. The gusset again, 20 thousandths. That equals 40 thousandths. You combine these two, it's 55 thousandths. It's a different set of numbers, right? Now, if we take on that, there is a portion of that tail where we put a 5/8 inch 058 tube inside of that 3/4 inch spar or 3/4 inch tube, right? Well, if you add that up, that's 93 thousandths, right? So automatically you know that, hey, you know, there's a difference in thickness. So what does that mean? Does that mean that we can grab any rivet off the shelf and just blast away? Do we just grab the longest rivet we can? You know, pop the rivet and away we go? Not necessarily, okay? Again, it goes back to now we're talking personal standards, right? So let's go forward. Let's take a look at something. I just kind of drew this out. I don't want to have a long speech on this, okay? But anytime that you build something mechanical or anything, the entire world basically has gotten together with groups of people and they've come up with best practices, standards, certifications. This means that there's all these different companies, they make parts, assemble parts, fabricate parts, and they've come to certain agreements, okay? You're going to see something called an ASME number and an SAE number. Now, it's in your best interest to Google and look these things up, okay? Study it. That's half the fun, okay? The ASME is the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. It's, again, we're talking about standards, a set of codes, a set of guidelines, practices, okay? That was founded in 1880. Now, ASME, the B18, which is a section, talks about standardization of fasteners. You wouldn't believe what you can learn from that. Moral of the story is we're going to talk about rivets. And rivets follow a set of standards, okay? And you're going to find those in B18, okay? SAE International is a Society of Automotive Engineers, okay? And again, it's similar. It is actually quite different than ASME, but you have to think of it as, again, best practices, standards, certifications. There's smart people that get together and create standards, okay? What's interesting about Society of Engineers, the key people that were part of the founding of that was Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and wouldn't you know it, Orville Wright and Glenn Curtiss. If you're familiar with the Jenny biplane, that's Glenn Curtiss, and of course, everyone knows Orville Wright, and that was founded in 1905. Now, if you look up the SAE J1200, okay, you're going to find there's dimensional, mechanical, and standards for fasteners. So if we go, let's see, what did I make here? All right, I pulled this off Wix. Wix is an aircraft supplier, so everyone is familiar with CCP 42. Okay, if someone mentions a pop rivet, it just seems that everyone says CCP 42, CCP 43, or CCP 46, right? This number does not mean pop rivet, okay? There's multiple companies, and I'm going to grab something. This happens to be CCP, although it is a pop rivet. What that is basically a code or a part number for a company called Cherry Aerospace, which is a company, Cherry Aerospace. That is their number, okay? I'm going to show you, let's see here. Now, the work I do for your people, okay. Look at the companies. Gispa, Cherry, this is where we get the CCP. This is Cherry's numbers. Celis, Star, Marson, Pop Rivet, right? Pop is a company. It's Pop Fastening Systems. Huck Automotive, okay? Just to give you an idea, this is Marson, okay? If you open this up, these are pop rivets, okay? So these pop rivets follow standards, and if you look, let me just highlight, let's find CCP 42. That's a very standard rivet. That is what Sonics actually uses. So if I were to highlight, there we go, CCP 42. So when we go back to, remember when I said these are these standards, right? They all follow those standards, okay? And this is the part numbers for each company that makes them. You can more or less get the same rivet, okay? It's just that Cherry Aerospace is very popular, is an excellent company too. So this is the one that Wix carries, aircraft spruce, everything else. I am using a Marson, okay? So Marson's equivalent of Cherry's is a SSB4 2S, okay? So, oh my gosh, we're at 9.5 minutes. I'm going to end this. We'll do actually video. We'll do 3 videos on this.